Hey there, Tabassum. So we've got some more essays. Let's take a look at what you've written. Let's see. Reducing the speed limit. Best option. Do the benefits outweigh the disadvantages? Let's see what you said. The issue of road safety has grown in importance over the last few years since the proliferation of road accidents. Many people think that restriction in speed limit is the effective way. Careful, this should be the most effective way to improve road safety, and know the. This essay will discuss both the advantages and disadvantages and explain why speed limit reduction is indispensable indispensable in improving, perhaps. It's indispensable to some. I don't know about the grammar here. It's indispensable. I have to think about this. There's something here that feels a little awkward to me. Indispensable and what it's followed by. But I have to think about it. So let me just put a question mark there and come back to it later. Okay. There are a number of important advantages to curb the speed. No. Important advantages to curbing the speed limit. That's for sure, because it's an advantage to something. So if a noun can go there, then the verb that goes in there should be an ing. The first is that maintaining the speed limit while driving will reduce the number of road accidents and save potential lives. No, it will potentially save lives, because the reason for most road accidents is reckless driving with excessive speed on the road. And I don't know about this maintaining the speed limit. Maintaining means keeping it as it is, so that's not what you're saying. You want to say that reducing the speed limit while driving will also reduce the number of road accidents. So a couple of word choice mistakes here. For example, a recent survey of Bangladesh, A recent survey of members of the Bangladesh government shows 80% of road accidents in the highway happen due to the high speed of vehicles and unhealthy competition among the drivers. Okay. Secondly, reducing the speed limit will encourage drivers to obey the traffic rules and eventually lessen traffic gridlock on the street. All right, I'm not sure about that. Why? Oh, okay. The high speed creates a tangle of vehicles that results in a huge traffic jam. Okay, interesting. Clearly, ensuring and improving road safety by reducing the speed limit will be extremely advantageous. Careful with your spelling. Despite the benefits, there are some drawbacks associated with the reduction of the speed limit. The Road and Transport Authority should standardize the speed limit to go to a certain mile within a specified time. All right, that's a little awkward. I don't know what you mean. To go to a specific speed within a specified time? Do you mean? I don't know. For example, drivers can keep the speed limit 20 kilometers per hour to drive a specific mile. Otherwise, excessive limitation in speed would hinder people from reaching their destination on time. I'm really not 100% sure what this means. I'm kind of lost, okay? Moreover, high speed can be acceptable for some emergency vehicles, such as ambulance or fire engines, and in these cases, sticking to the speed limit can be omitted. No, can be, you don't mean omitted here. Can be overlooked, maybe, to reach the people in need. However, these two drawbacks are insignificant compared to the advantages. They're not drawbacks. I wouldn't say they're drawbacks at all. They're just exceptions to the rule. And I think that, generally speaking, this is what applies anyway. I mean, lots of rules don't exist for ambulance and fire vehicles because they run red lights, they pass people make way for them. So not really sure about this paragraph at all. Instead, you're talking about the drawbacks associated with the speed limit. There are a lot of things you could have said here as the drawbacks. The first thing you could have said is that reducing the speed limit is not it's a way, but it's not the best way, because the best way would be a combination of reducing the speed limit and also having police to enforce this new law. Like, that's just an example. I'm not saying that this is true, but you could say that such a measure is useless without having law enforcement on the street to enforce, or cameras, for example, to enforce such a measure. Or you could say that The only thing that reducing the speed limit would really create is frustration among the drivers who must take longer now to get to their destination because of the reduced speed. This could potentially lead to things like road rage and anger and so forth, okay? So I'm not really a huge fan of how you develop this paragraph at all. And I think I already explained why. First of all, I didn't understand the first part. And second of all, the second part, it's something already in existence, so I don't really see, and it's, you know, speed limits don't apply to these vehicles, so I'm not really sure why we're even talking about it. Okay, so moving on. The speed limit must be circumscribed in order to improve road safety. In my opinion, the advantages of reducing the speed limit, advantages supersede, no S, the disadvantages. All right, it's fine. The first part of the essay was well done, but that second paragraph really had some issues for me in terms of the development. I think that my sense reading this is that you didn't really know, you couldn't really think of ideas for like what the disadvantages of such a measure would possibly be. And so that created some problems. Now, the other problem here is that, and I feel like we've talked about this before, but you said that it's indispensable, but your order of paragraphs was wrong. The side that you support must come second. This was it right here. So this paragraph should have gone first up here, and then this paragraph should have gone down here. We always talk about the side that we support last, okay? We keep it closer to our conclusion. So please keep that in mind. No matter what kind of task 2 you're writing, the side that you support goes closer to your conclusion. All right, let's take a look at this. Just a reminder, it would be really helpful. Oops, hold on. It would be really helpful if you could include the graph or the chart, whatever, on your document, okay? Let's take a look at what you wrote here. This is the school subjects in New South Wales. Let's see. The given pie charts illustrate the school subject preferences in New South Wales in 2014 and 2017. Overall, the school subject choices it's all in the past, so you have to make sure your tenses are correct. Since both dates are in the past, you must use past, not present perfect. So, again, overall, the school subject choices significantly changed over the 2 different years. The preference in physics, the preference for, maybe? Physics, biology, and history increased in 2017. The lower preference, perhaps, preferences were given in math, geography, and PE in 2007. What is happening here? I'm not really sure. Okay. IT as a subject choice remained relatively similar over the periods, and chemistry, which had an insignificant preference in 2014, was completely taken away from the school's subject preference. Okay, that part's fine. I just have some issues with this over here, though, okay? This sentence right here. All right, moving on. Specifically, the preferences in... Can you try to use another expression other than preference? Okay, because the whole, I mean, I've seen it now how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And for you to be using the same word in a writing assignment that is so short, it's like, you know, try to vary it up a little bit. So maybe you could have said even just use a different form. Say students preferred, or students selected, or students chose, or students selection, or choice, or you know, I mean, there are different ways to express this, okay? So try to vary it up a little bit. All right, so specifically the preference for physics somewhat grew from the first period to the second period by exactly 1.8%. Following the same trajectory, the choice of biology significantly increased from 13.4 to 24.1, and the preference for history drastically grew from 1.2 to 19.4. On the other hand, the selection of math, fell from 27.3 to 12.2, and in the case of geography, it decreased, from 27.7 to 18.7. And in the case of PE, the same expression here for the same sentence, it decreased from 8.7 to 3.2. IT remained steady at 0.2 over the two periods, and chemistry, which had 1% preference in 2014, was totally removed. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why it's really important to include the diagram here is that it allows me to make sure that you've included all of the subjects. I vaguely remember what this looks like. I think there's 7 or 8 subjects in the first one, and then there's one less in the 2017 pie chart because obviously there's no chemistry there. But I really would prefer if you could include this so that I can make sure you mentioned all the school subjects. It's one place that I find a lot of people miss out, and I have to let you know that it's a big deal if you miss out one of the school subjects. Okay, you absolutely have to mention all of them at least by name once. Okay, there was a lot of repetition here, especially with that word preference. I can't say that I was, basically, I couldn't really easily draw this for you if I had to, okay? So I think you could have been a little more clear. I think you could have varied your language up a little bit. I want you to take a look at the model for this when you receive it, okay? What you need to do now, Tabassum, is obviously correct these essays, return them back to us. Don't forget about your error correction list. Start your new essays, okay? I'm really looking forward to them. So that's the end of this, and I'll be waiting here to see what you write next.